Good afternoon. This is my third video today. As you can see, I'm still sick, obviously, because just got started getting sick on Thursday or Friday. So now I sound like I have a frog in my throat. So sorry about that. I'll try to talk without too much difficulty, hopefully. Hopefully I don't lose my voice, but in any case, I want to give you before I start telling you about this video's subject matter. I wanted to give you a little update on a video where Scott Jennings is talking about he's talking about the Social Security issue that I had brought up earlier today. That people were saying, oh, Elon Musk was going to be considering doing something with that. Well, that's really not the case. Let me play Scott Jennings' a little tiny clip here for you. Because Doge, Elon Musk and Vivek met with some of the Republican Congress people today. So this is what Scott Jennings says about that issue.
Donald Trump wasn't. He has clearly stated from the minute he got into this race in 2015 that he would not cut Social Security and Medicare. It has never changed. That's number one. Number two, here's what I heard about the meeting today. That it went great, that they were very upbeat, there was a vibe of teamwork. Elon's kind of the visionary, but I'll tell you what I heard was that Vivek gets it. That was the phrase I heard today. He gets it. So you have two guys here, they're creative, and with Vivek, apparently he came in armed with a lot of technical knowledge about how to achieve some of the things they're talking about. But they're not going to cut Social Security and Medicare for people. Is there efficiency to be saved in the bureaucracy? I'm certain that there is.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And I kind of figured it was not so, people were thinking that, but there was no real evidence that Elon was going to do that. So anyway, so what I want to talk about is a few things. There was a message from Patriarch John back in May that still, obviously, it still applies to now. I'm going to read that to you, and then some other things going on. So first I'll start with that. Okay. This was on May 6, 2024. Patriarch John X calls for lifting the unjust Western siege imposed on the Syrian people. So he says, and he speaks rather bluntly, without much softness regarding what's going on, and I don't blame him because he's in the midst of all this. He says, quote, "The world is crying over Syria and its people and the terrorist war and unjust siege it has been subject to, without doing anything to lift this stifling Western siege. We call on them to provide security for the people of Syria instead of crying over the result." So he also says, "We pray for Syria, its people, and for the unity of its territory, and for Palestine and Jerusalem, and call for an end to the continuing Israeli aggression against the people of Gaza. We also pray for peace in our East and in the entire world." Okay. As I explained that one time in one of my videos, that when this happened back in 2014, it says here, the Patriarch stressed that the kidnapping of Bishops Boulos Yazigi, Metropolitan of the Greek Orthodox Diocese of Aleppo, and John Ibrahim, Metropolitan of Aleppo for the Syriac Orthodox, by terrorist organizations more than a decade ago was a slap in the face of human values. And that was his brother, Boulos, who they both died. It was terrible. Patriarch John indicated that the humiliating and condemned international silence regarding this issue is often harsher than the kidnapping itself. So he concluded his speech by praying to God to protect Syria, its people, its valiant army, and its leader, President Bashar al-Assad, and for peace and love to prevail in Syria and the entire world. This would give you an idea of where we Orthodox stand on these geopolitical issues. It is not the Western view. We have an Eastern view, because a lot of our churches are they're not just Western. There's a lot of more Eastern, and we come out of the Eastern Orthodox Church. Okay, the other thing that was kind of interesting is that just a couple days ago, by presidential decree, that means Syrian President Bashar al-Assad decreed the establishment of the University of Christian Theology and Religious and Philosophical Studies, which will be operated by the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch and all the East. This is what I was telling you when I said that Assad protects Christians, protects minorities, and that he really cares about that, you know. He's visited monasteries and all that. So it's really important that you're aware of that Assad was sitting there supporting what our patriarch was trying to do. So that's pretty awesome. Let me see what else we have here. I don't know if you know this, but as I think I might have mentioned it, but both Romania and Georgia, the country Georgia, they also are, their population is mostly Orthodox. So there's some news that coups may be trying to happen. Like there was one, protest in Georgia spread as PM defies U.S. condemnation. As you see, so tensions have been rising for months in the country of 3.7 million people between the ruling Georgian Dream Party and opponents who accuse it of pursuing increasingly authoritarian, anti-Western, and pro-Russian policies. They obviously, you know, some people are saying that NATO's trying to do these coups in Georgia and in Romania. It's the same thing with Romania. Georgescu was ahead in Romania. It was going to be a blowout, but they decided not to do that. And I'll tell you where it says that. Romanian court cancels presidential election amid Russian influence fears. That's what they're going to say, right? Just like they did for us. But this is, yeah. So, they of course, they call him an ultra-nationalist, which kind of sounds how they do that, or they say they're far right. They say that, especially in the, the U.S. news will say that about the mainstream or state-run media will say that about the other political leaders and politicians, that they must be, you know, far right. They're ultra nationalists, you know, which in my opinion just means he has a care about his country. But anyway. So the court decision plunged the strategically important EU, this is in Romania, EU and NATO member state into political chaos, inflaming divisions that opened up after a far right outsider came from nowhere to win the first round in the presidential contest 2 weeks ago. Ultranationalist Calin Georgescu benefited from a TikTok campaign that was similar to influence operations run by the Kremlin in Ukraine and Moldova. Well, you could take that the way you want, but what's the history of this? Okay, that's my view. The second round runoff was due to be held on Sunday, and voting had already begun in Romania, diaspora communities in other countries. The court canceled the process completely, leaving voters to be amused as they turned to cast their ballots. The Romanian government will now need to draw up a timeline for fresh presidential elections. Well, in a defiant video released on Friday night, Georgescu accused the court of launching practically a formalized coup d'etat and told his supporters to show they are brave and not to give up. And Georgescu says, today the Romanian state has trampled on democracy. We wrote history. It is time to show that we are brave people. Democracy is under attack. On this day, the corrupt system made a pact with the devil. I have only one pact with the Romanian people and God. The power lies in each one of us. The Romanian people do not give in. Be confident. Be brave. Today is just the beginning of a new page in the history of this country. So, as you'll notice, a lot of countries are wanting to make their country's needs, their people's needs first. The citizens are very interested in their country first. Quit all these globalized things going on, with the wars and with this. And because the Georgian and the Romanian prime ministers were not in line with how NATO has been, the NATO agenda, they're trying to do a coup. I mean, this happens all the time in the U.S., as you see, we constantly try to do that. If they're not doing what we want, well, this is for NATO. The same thing. And so, those two things are going on. It been like the past week or so. Romania just happened now. This is a newer issue that just came up. And I want to add this to the point spiritually of what I've been saying. Romania and Georgia are Orthodox, traditionally, historically Orthodox countries. And I've heard in some prophecies, Orthodox Christian prophecies, that the evil one, the devil, is trying to separate, to pit one Orthodox country against another, cause wars and destruction and chaos in these countries. And as you can see, which countries these are, they are. What countries are involved in all these wars lately? At least the ones, I'm sure there's other wars going on, but right now, what we have our eyes on, what we've been following, is Russia and Ukraine, Orthodox countries. Syria, Gaza, Palestine, there's Orthodox there too, in both of those places, in Palestine and in Syria. In fact, the Patriarch is in Syria, and we have a bishop in Gaza, and we have a bunch of churches in Jerusalem, the Holy Land, Nazareth and all that. And, of course, Greece is an Orthodox country. Traditionally, it may be a little secular now and all that, but traditionally, And it's still there, but it hasn't lost all of its deal because, you have Mount Athos in Greece and all that. But all of these are connected, okay? And, well, Turkey and Greece still don't get along for obvious reasons. So, to take into account all of the things that are happening with these of Christ churches in these areas, and how the evil one is using instruments, people, groups to go against Christ's body. And so what we and we know this in the prophecies. But as I said before, the gates of hell will not prevail against his church. So sorry for my frog voice. I'll probably rest the rest of the night, so I won't end up talking like this the rest of the night. And let me just make sure I have everything that I wanted to say. Yeah, I think I announced everything that was important that I wanted to say on this subject. So, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And hopefully I will come back tomorrow with a better voice. And I wish you a blessed evening. And until next time, take care.